Hello everyone, I'm Yoon from the Film 101 Honors course. Today, I'd like to introduce the connections between film and AI, and how AI influences the film industry. One day, I was watching the news about Hollywood, but there was a picket line, which I didn't expect to see. Looking at the Hollywood authorities attending a protest because of the AI, it made me curious about what was going on. This is why I chose this topic. And I'd like to share the video, which is a space odyssey.
Do you read me, Hal? Affirmative, Dave.
Can you hear the sound? Okay. All right.
I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Where the hell did you get that idea, Hal?
Dave, although you took very thorough precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
All right, Hal. I'll go in through the emergency airlock.
Without your space helmet, Dave, we're going to find that rather difficult.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Hal? 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 Hal?
This movie was published in 1968, and this movie dealt with the topic of AI. AI gets all the control in the spaceship, and AI doesn't listen to what the protagonist says. Even though this movie was published in 1968, it exactly reflects the issue of why we're afraid of using AI. I'd like to talk about how AI influences the film industry and what's going on. For this presentation, I will go through the diverse topics on several pages about AI-related film industry. And let's watch these two AI-generated movies first.
Storm's too much. Everybody, tent up!
Dogs left, man. Dogs left. What are we gonna eat? What are we gonna eat?
Wanna go there? You're not part of this family, Jake. We are the blood-related siblings, and if there's someone who's gonna go, it's either her or me, but definitely not you. Do you get that? It can't be you.
Well, technically, she's right. You're only here because our dad met your mom at the BTS concert.
BTS concert.
From my perspective, I thought these two movies were great, but were a lot awkward. For the first movie, the graphics are not smooth enough, and the movement does not seem to be real. In addition, it is even hard to focus on the movie. For the movie The Safe John, I found it to be very interesting because ChatGPT wrote and directed this movie in 7 days. It showed incredible storylines, and I somehow enjoyed this movie. By looking at these two movies, even though the movies are not perfect, but we can see how we should be afraid of the unlimited capability of growth in AI. Even before the Hollywood strike happened, many predicted there must be an issue related to the use of AI in the film industry. Three main AI techniques that play the most significant roles are machine learning, deepfake, and generative AI. Machine learning allows people to reduce production time by providing the patterns that come from diverse data. The deepfake technique enables the replacement of one face with another. Lastly, generative AI refers to ChatGPT, which is a tool capable of writing scripts and creating images based on given instructions. However, these are controversial tools due to their potential implication. Machine learning is a field of study that enables computers to learn from data through algorithms and statistical models without human intervention. It raises concerns among people as the data collected by computers is based on the algorithm, not on human input. Moreover, it simplifies the process of creating movies, making it faster and more efficient. For the deepfake, it had been a huge problem to fabricate the information by editing the image. I'll say using a deepfake technology is a double-edged sword, since deepfake technology allows people to create diverse characters using creativity, while it also can cause legal issues for using another person's image. Lastly, using generative AI in the film industry is the most significant problem today. Most of you might be familiar with ChatGPT. It generates the script, images, and video based on the data gathered online and instructions that people provide. By looking at the following abilities of AI, I found the significant issues in all three techniques, which are privacy, copyright, and ethical problems. When we use AI, there is no privacy for us which collects data from while we search and while we look for it. Also, it is hard to determine the copyright of the image, writing, and even the video that was generated by ChatGPT. Finally, we must acknowledge that the application of AI can sometimes lead us to act in ways that challenge our ethical principles. Now, let's look at what is going on in Hollywood. As you can see through the images, Hollywood strike is in progress according to the rapid development of AI and its application in the film industry. What I'll be focusing on would be the SAG-AF Tier A and WGA strike. I will give you a brief information on what are those. SAG-AF Tier A stands for Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. As you can see in the image, well-known actors like Mark Ruffalo, who many would recognize as Hulk, also got involved in the protest in Hollywood. As there was a rapid change in working conditions for the actors following the rapid application of AI in the film industry, they wanted higher wages and better working conditions for actors. Also, they were afraid of losing their job following the rapid development of AI. For the WGA, it stands for Writers Guild of America. As it tells us through the name of its group, the writers were gathered in its group. WGA would be the group that AI has a great influence on and needs the regulation of AI the most. AI could easily generate a script, but there is no specific regulation on it. Generative AI generates the script based on the scripts on the internet, which means it will provide a script that is similar to one script. There's no protection for copyright, and AI made it much simpler to copy others' work by providing simple instructions. I found two professors looking at the same issues, but has different perspectives on it. Jonathan Taplin serves as the Emeritus Director of the Annenberg's Innovation Lab at USC, and Yves Bergquist serves as the Director of AI and Neuroscience and Media Project at USC. The Director Taplin is concerned about AI replacing human writers, artists, photographers, and other creative professionals in the arts and entertainment industry. This concern comes from the technology of algorithms. With its technology, AI could create art based on it, which would be very similar to the original work. The director Bergquist believes that the film industry would eventually accept the use of AI because of its ability to reduce the cost of making films. However, he is also concerned about the potential effects on the film industry. Perspectives they had in this situation were different, but there was a fundamental concern that was worrying about AI's potential effect on the film industry. From this point, I would like to share how the audiences responded to using AI in the film industry. Around 61% of 1665 US adults surveyed say using AI in the film industry is a bad idea. This is the opinion of watching movies that I shared at the beginning of my presentation. This shows how people have negative aspects of using AI for generating movies. As we look at the predictions on the current situation and the aspect of audiences for using AI in the film industry, we can see that there should be restrictions on using AI. Many worries the change in the film industry by bringing AI into the film industry. Therefore, there are some policies that were imposed recently for the regulation of the use of AI in the film industry. Firstly, literary material and protection of writers. AI-generated writing cannot be considered as a literary material, and even though writers use AI-generated tools, they need to get full credit for their work and to inform that AI-generated written figures. Secondly, consent of using AI. The writers must get consent to use AI from the studio. Also, if they utilize generative AI in their writing, what was written by the AI is considered the writing as if the studio provided it. Lastly, ensuring the development of AI for the future. Since there are many more restrictions on using AI in writing, the development of AI will slow down. Therefore, they needed the policy to keep up with the development of AI for the future. I thought it was a great idea to protect against the abuse of using AI and ensure AI-generated work is counted as literary material. In addition, it doesn't stop developing AI technology while regulating some parts of using AI, which I thought was a great idea for the future. And how do you feel about my presentation? And what do you guys think about AI application in the film industry? And this is the works cited page for this work. And thank you so much for watching.
All right, thank you, John. I loved your presentation.
Thank
So
you.
we'll now do a 5-minute Q&A session with the audience. I see Laura has her hand up. Feel free. Ask your question.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting presentation, and to your point, your question, the two little video clips you showed, I thought the second one with the family, it seemed like overly dramatic. So kind of like that's one of the things, like I've used GPT before, and because the AI kind of takes samples of how people write or how, what movies already exist and stuff, it feels like, at least in the beginning stages, like the AI, at least in that particular movie, was kind of like over the top. So I actually was kind of like snickering a little bit during the movie because they were like trying so hard to be dramatic. It was like it felt like too much. Whereas like I think if a human had written it and human actors were there, they would have like filled a little bit, and like still portrayed the drama of the situation without it being like kind of comical, because it was like so big and so dramatic. I mean, we were only seeing a snippet, so it was kind of hard to tell, but that's the thing I think with AI, is that it's not really able to like understand the nuances of like what's too much drama and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a little harder. I'm gonna watch the whole movies. I'm kind of curious to see the whole film of the little samples you gave, but it so yeah, that's my thoughts right now on it.
Yeah, it was very like good storyline, I thought, but like the actors are not quite like doing really good, like expressing about what they say or some kind of thing. And it just seemed like just AI generated movie, not human. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking that like AI generated films may have a purpose in like educational videos where like they're kind of corny anyway, a lot of times. And then but I was wondering what your thoughts were since you explored the topic. Like, did you find other movies that were like kind of over the top too, or were there some that seemed like, kind of like they were done similarly as they would have been done if they were done by humans?
Like the two movies that I attached on my presentation was what I thought the most interesting, and I found some movies that were created by like AI and using AI script, like AI generating like tools for their script, but I don't quite remember. But those are interesting, and yeah, like I'm not sure about like another movies about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Professor Gunn.
Hey, good job, John. I only was there for about the second half of your presentation, but I think since we talked before, I knew some of the other things you were going to talk about. So really, really good job. I think this is such an interesting topic, and it's so relevant to what's happening right now. And so my question, it kind of came up. I was writing this question, and then one of your slides popped up, and it said like, "This is how audiences feel about AI." And so from what you shared, it sounds like audiences kind of have a negative, at least they anticipate to have a negative response to it. And I think that's probably pretty accurate. So my question is kind of like, how will audiences feel about AI generated content, whether that's a script or an image, you know, maybe even an actor, like an AI actor or something? How do you think they'll feel about it, and why is the reaction? Why would it be negative, do you think?
I did some research about like why do they feel negative and like, they don't like it, that kind of stuff. But I couldn't really find the article that talks about like why do they feel negative or like that. And like from my perspective on it, I think it seems very awkward and not really smooth, like AI generated movies. And like maybe actors they use like actors in this movie, like many people to watch the movie because of famous actor and they want to see them, but AI generated movies cannot like um attach that face or that kind of stuff. And the script they write is kind of they need some help or like added from humans because it doesn't seem to be like human speaking. So I think those are the factors that why people do not like using AI in movie. And yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, and I think that's true. If you can tell that it's AI
Mhm.
generated and it's awkward or something, that makes sense. But
Mhm.
but what about, like you mentioned, what if you have a script that's AI generated, and then you have a script writer, a human, who comes in and
Mhm.
says, "Oh, we got to clean this up," and you know, this character needs this dialogue doesn't sound right, or this situation isn't quite right, and they tweak it. Kind of like
Yeah.
what you would do in an ideal world if you're writing something using AI. Maybe you have an AI
Mhm.
generator write a letter for you or an essay, but hopefully you go in there and you say, this doesn't sound like a human, and I need to add some content to make it flow better and to prove my point better and to share an example that I think is more relevant. So yeah, what do you think? I mean, because for me, it's like a hybrid thing where I could see where, you know, you have a script doctor come in and fix it, or even like say like you cast your 5 leading actors with big Hollywood stars, and then you say, look, all the people in the background who play small parts, we're just going to do like AI generated characters that can interact with a big star. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a hybrid AI and traditional.
And like for the like presentation I made for English course, I did some like I attached some professor's opinion on using AI, and I found that like he was talking about how AI and human were working together, will be replaced by human working without AI. So I think AI is really good tool that will enhance the human work and like and I think in the future everyone will use the AI generated like tools for like any like kind of field of job. So like yeah, and yeah, it was about the education for English, and then I discussed how AI will apply in education, the kind of stuff, and like for film industry, I think it will be replaced by like AI and all kind of stuff, but there will be like need of humans work together, not only on AI. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, John. That's all the time for that Q&A, but I want to say thank you, John, for your presentation and the film industry.